Now that we have all these different type of customer objects, what if I want to let's assume like I have thousand of different premium customers and now I want to compare them to each other to maybe sort them out or maybe compare two premium customer objects to each other, see if they're equal or have the same values or one is smaller than the other. How the question is, how does Python know how to compare two premium objects? If I just say here, for example, print, all right, let me just create two more premium customers. Okay, I'm gonna call this one P1 and I'm gonna call this one P2. So these two have the exact same ID, name, and everything, right? But if I just print P1 equals P2, what do you think we're gonna get as a result? So let me show you what we get. Um, we are getting false as a result, which means these two are not equal. What is happening? What exactly Python is comparing here? Is Python comparing the names or the IDs or the address or the phone number or all together? Well, the answer is that Python does not know how to compare two objects, um, because there are so many attributes and data in each objects. So Python doesn't really know like which attributes from those objects needs to be compared when we do something like this, or when we want to see which one is smaller and greater than the other one. So we as a programmer need to tell Python that, okay, these are the attributes that you need to compare when two objects are compared to each other. So we need to implement the method, and inside that method, we need to specify what exactly needs to be compared. So since we don't have that method yet, when we do something like this is what Python does. Python is going to compare the memory location of these two, comparing memory location of these two objects. And since obviously these two are saved in different part of the memory, that's why we're getting false, because they're not equal. So it's not actually comparing the values that we have inside these two objects. So let's say we want to compare all premium customers based on their ID. Okay, and we want to sort them based on their ID numbers. So let's just do for premium. So the method that we need to define here is this method, double score equal. So this method allows us to, when we use double equal operator, Python going to look for the implementation of this method with the exact same parameters that you're seeing. And then inside this method, we basically say which attributes needs to be compared to each other. So first thing first, we need to make sure this other object that we are getting here as another object that we want to compare to this current object is an instance of this class, which is the premium customer. Like, you cannot compare numbers with strings, right? Same thing here. Like, you cannot compare premium customers with car objects. They have to come from the same class. So how do we check that? We just make sure this other comes from this thing. So if that's the case, that means now we can actually compare them. And like I said, we want to compare the IDs. So the other ID. ID number. So that means if both of them are from the same class and both of them are object from the same class, just compare the ID numbers. You can compare anything you want, depends on the situation. I'm just assuming when I compare two premium customer objects right now, I just want to know if they have the same ID number. You can compare the names, you can compare anything you want, depends on the situation. And then if they're not from the if they are not objects from the same class, I'm just going to return false right there. Um, okay, so now let's see what happens. Um, where was yeah, let's go back here. And now when we compare them, let's see what we get as a result of comparison. Look at that. Now the result is true because now it's only comparing the ID of these two objects. Let me change one of them, rerun the whole thing so you can see. There we go. Now it's false because the ID numbers are not equal. So we define how two objects should be compared, and which attributes of those two objects need to be compared. And we define this method double score equal double score method. And basically we compare the things that we want to compare inside this method. And when you compare two objects of this class, now Python going to look for the implementation for this method and it's going to run that for us.